morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day. Welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Chris, and I'm pleased to be your worship associate this morning. Whether you're taking part in this worship celebration from your home or wherever else you may be, whenever you may log on, you are welcome here. We acknowledge that our FirstU campus is located on traditional, unsurrendered, and unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory, and that the work of reconciliation is a responsibility of our congregation and of all Canadians. Our goal is to educate ourselves and all who have ears to hear, to be of service to those who are at risk, and to advocate for justice. Do take care and take advantage of online opportunities at FirstU to stay in touch during this protracted pandemic. If you're new to FirstU and would like to learn more about us, please contact us through our email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. And now here is Mariella from our board with announcements for today. Mariella.
Good morning. My name is Mariella, and last Sunday at our annual general meeting, I was elected to join the board, and I'm going to be serving as your vice president. Thank you. I look forward to connecting with everyone and serving this congregation. In case you missed it, the annual general meeting isn't over yet. We still need to discuss the vote on the campus development motion, so the congregation will be reconvening next Sunday, May 15th at 1 p.m., but join at 12:30 to register. There are amendments to consider, and you can get a new proxy if you need one. All that information is in the EUU, our weekly newsletter online. Or you can go to the Campus Development Members page for all the information. Big congratulations to the Ajaski Project team for being awarded 2 different grants recently for helping future food warriors tackle food insecurity. When you have a chance, please check out what they're doing in the volunteer room, which is right out that door, right in the corner. Some really cool stuff in there, so check that out after the service. And finally, FirstU singers are so excited to be home again and presenting a concert called The Road Home, their first concert in over 2 years. Join us next Saturday, May 14th at 4 p.m. for an hour-long live in-person performance featuring our contemporary fusion ensemble, our Three Rivers Singers women's ensemble, and our Chalice Choir. And they'll be presenting music about community, resilience, and finding the way home. Admission is by donation. For more information on these announcements, you can always ask me after the service, or you can reach our new president, Brett Nicole, standing in the back corner, by emailing president@firstunitarianottawa.ca. And now, here is Joan representing the Unitarian Go-Go's with our monthly Social Justice Action Network announcement. Joan.
I'm Joan Turner, many of you know me, and I've been an active member of Unitarian Go-Go's since the group began 15 years ago in January 2007. In August 2006, at a first and powerful meeting of grandmothers from Africa with grandmothers from Canada, arranged by the Stephen Lewis Foundation in Toronto, Canadian grandmothers promised, "We will not rest until they can rest." Not only does the HIV/AIDS pandemic continue to threaten the health and lives of African girls and women in particular, but COVID most certainly adds to the challenge. We cannot rest until our African sisters can rest. Unitarian Go-Go's are part of the social justice group of this congregation. Go-Go's means grandmothers in the Zulu language. Most, but not all, members of our group are mothers and grandmothers. Everyone is welcome to join our group at any time. Unitarian Go-Go's are often identified by our bright turquoise t-shirts. Words on the back of the shirts tell how we work. In solidarity with African grandmothers, easing the pain of HIV/AIDS through the Stephen Lewis Foundation. Note that there's a logo, you probably can only barely see it, but there's a logo of a mother and child at the front of our t-shirts. Particularly appropriate, I think, for Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day. Unfortunately, too many African children have lost their mothers to AIDS. There are 17 groups, including ours, in the Ottawa-Gatineau region and 176 granny groups in Canada. Currently, in our group, there are 19 women. Most of us are seniors, and due to COVID, we've been meeting by Zoom, and now we sometimes meet in person on the third Thursday afternoon of the month, usually. Read the article in the last Parkway Spire, and there's some copies at the back of the room, and you'll learn more about us. Through the years, members of the congregation have supported our educational and fundraising endeavors, including our annual plant sale, our bake sales, our dinners at Biagio's restaurant, and so on. In August this year, we are happy to be selling tickets for the Classic Theatre Matinee at Arts Court in Ottawa now on Thursday, August 11th. You can get tickets from us. Since our 12th garden plant sale is next weekend, on Friday, May the 13th, Saturday, May 14th, and Sunday, May 15th, I want to focus for a bit on our 3-day event. In particular, I want to take the opportunity to thank everyone who is donating plants, helping to pot and prepare plants, baking, working at the sale, or helping us to spread the word and advertise. On Friday and Saturday, our hours are 9 a.m. until 7, and on Friday and Saturday, our hours are 9 a.m. till 7, and on Sunday, 9 a.m. until 2. On Friday, Ecology Ottawa will be with us, handing out free seedling trees and guidance about planting and caring for the trees. On Saturday, Go-Go Grannies of Aylmer, Quebec will be joining us to sell their baking and preserves as well as garden plants. Details are on our posters, and there are some at the back of the room, little handouts like this, and we hope you'll take one because the details are important too. Next Saturday, on May 14th, as Mariella said, there's a choir concert, so you could come and buy baking and plants and preserves and honey and attend the concert as well. We will be finished at 2 o'clock on Sunday, and any plants remaining will be donated to the Jaski Indigenous project of this congregation. So do consider joining us in ways that you can. We'd love to have you in our group. There's work to do, and we do enjoy working together. Thank you for your interest and support.
Thanks, and now we have Donna from the Environmental Action Group with some announcements.
Hi, I'm Donna. Okay, so in 26 days, Ontarians get to vote, so we've got a new focus. We want them to learn about the environment. This province produces the second highest level of greenhouse gas emissions in Canada, and Ontario's environmental health is poor overall and getting worse. In the EUU and on the climate action page, we're going to offer information for you to consider. This week, we're looking at assessments of Ontario's environmental status, also questions to ask candidates who may come around, and they're already starting, and also a link to take the pledge to vote for the environment. You can do that and join us with that. Our message will be over the next while: educate yourself and vote for the environment. And sorry, all you residents of Quebec, you don't get to vote, but you do get to share our greenhouse gas emissions.
So during the continued pandemic, we encourage you to sign up to receive the EUU, our weekly email newsletter, to check our Facebook, our Instagram page, and our webpage for notices and updates. Our calendar continues to be as full as ever, though many of our activities still take place online. For example, on our calendar next Sunday, May 15th, there will be a family pizza-making lunch right after the service. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, and however you identify, today you are part of our spiritual community.
Bonjour, mes amis. Happy Mother's Day once again. Just so I know, if you self-identify as a mother, would you please raise your hand? Happy Mother's Day, all of you. And welcome to our weekly Sunday worship service from Worship Hall, and to those of you here and everyone watching wherever you may be. I'm the Reverend Eric Meter, this faith community's lead pastor. And we light our chalice this morning with words adapted from my colleague, the Reverend Suzelle Lynch. Our community is filled with beauty. You don't even have to look outside this beautiful spring morning. When you open the door to greet your neighbor, that's where the beauty begins. When you share with one another what's important to you, beauty is there as we listen. When we join hands to practice compassion, beauty's heart blooms like a flower. When we teach or learn or work for justice, beauty abounding sparks joy in all. Let's light our chalice for beauty now, the beauty we seek, the beauty we share, the beauty we nurture together. That wasn't planned, forgive me. Sometimes a little perseverance or even faith is called for. And now our opening hymn, Bobby McFerrin's take on the 23rd Psalm, subtitled Dedicated to My Mother. For those here in Worship Hall, please feel free to hum along if you know the tune. For those elsewhere, if you have one of our hymnals with you, the song is number 1038 in our teal hymnal. Jen?
The Lord is my shepherd, I have all I need. She makes me lie down in green meadows, beside the still waters. She leads me in the path of good things. She fills my heart with songs. Even though I walk through a dark and dreary land, there is nothing that can shake me. She has said she won't forsake me. I'm in her hand. She sets a table before me in the presence of my foes. She anoints my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely, surely goodness and kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I will live in her house forever, forever and ever. Glory be to our Mother and Daughter and to the Holy of Holies, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Our call to worship reading is by Mary Harrington. We come together today in praise and thanksgiving for the gift of life itself. Someone gave birth to us, and some of us have given birth. All of us have been mothered in our time. All of us have mothered. Let our time today be one of recognition that we arrive from so many places: joy and delight, wistfulness and longing and worry, unmet needs and unfulfilled dreams, loss and sorrow, loss and emptiness, loss and regret. All that life is made of, mothers are made of too. Today we sing the songs of so many: mothers who are single parents, foster parents, mothers who relinquish their young out of necessity, mothers who found their heart in adoption, mothers who left their children in 1,000 ways, mothers who rejoice and mothers who mourn. We sing the songs of the grandmother, the auntie, the classroom teacher, the Sunday school teacher, the babysitter, the neighbor with endless cookies and time. There is a kind of love we cannot live without. It is never too late, no matter our age or situation. We sing a song of gratitude for all the moments of being known, being cherished, being found. Come, let us worship together.
I'm Reverend Ellen Bell, and at this time in the service, we recognize personal joys and sorrows. This is done by placing stones in water and allowing the ripples to carry the thoughts out to the universe. A request from hang on, I just lost it all. Oh dear. Here we go. A request from Lars for his brother Jacob, who died last week. A stone of sorrow for Don McDermott, who died May 2nd, and there's a caring card for Don's family at the table at the back, so I encourage you all to sign it. I have an announcement from Mike. And this is, I'll just read it to you. We had a big win at work this week, and it is related to the congregational focus. In an historic event, for the first time ever, the Ontario Energy Board turned down an application to build fossil fuel infrastructure when they rejected Enbridge's leave to construct application for pipeline construction along Salaron Boulevard in Ottawa. In doing so, the Energy Board directed Enbridge to work on energy management more in line with Ottawa's climate plan. People in the plan department, and yours truly, that's Mike, were elated, and Mike says he's happy to discuss this with anybody. And I found out just yesterday that Betty Stern, who some of you may remember, who died in March, her son Griff was run over by a hit-and-run driver and died in Las Vegas on Thursday. And I put a stone of sorrow and hope for Ukraine. And there's been a lot of flooding in certain areas of this country, and it's pretty horrendous, so a stone of sorrow and hope for those folks as well. And one last stone for all the joys and sorrows kept in our hearts.
Hi to everyone, it's Nao, your Director of Religious Exploration. Today I'm reading to you a short story titled Beautiful Hands. I hope you enjoy it. What will your beautiful hands do today? Will they plant? What can you plant? Ideas. Or touch. What can you touch? Hearts? Will they lift? What can you lift? Spirits? Or stretch? What can you stretch? Imaginations? Will they reach? What can you reach? For love and for peace, truth, faith, hope, and dreams. What will your beautiful hands do? tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed that short story. Please check the EU for religious exploration activities. We have a pizza party coming up soon and a fun walk at Mud Lake. All right, have a great Sunday.
Thanks, Jen. We have two readings for you again today. I will read the first. Chris will offer the second. Our first reading is from Cheryl Strayed. Every mother has a different story, though we tend to group them together. We like to think that partnered moms have it good and single moms have it rough, but the truth is we're a diverse bunch. Some single mothers have lots of child-free time because their kids are regularly in the custody of their fathers. Some seldom get a break. Some partners' mothers split childcare duties with their spouses in egalitarian ways. Others might as well be alone. Some mothers of both varieties have parents, siblings, and friends who play active roles in their children's lives in ways that significantly lighten the load. Others have to pay for every hour another looks after their kids. Some mothers, single or partnered, can't afford to pay anyone for anything. Some can and do. Others can and won't. Some are aided financially by parents or trust funds or inheritances, or are entirely on their own. The reality is that regardless of their circumstances, most moms are alternately blissed out by their love for their children and utterly overwhelmed by the spectacular amount of sacrifice they require.
Our second reading is by Wendell Berry, To My Mother. I was your rebellious son, do you remember? Sometimes I wonder if you do remember. So complete has your forgiveness been. So complete has your forgiveness been, I wonder sometimes if it did not precede my wrong, and I erred, safe found within your love, prepared ahead of me the way home, or my bed at night, so that almost I should forgive you, who perhaps foresaw the worst that I might do, and forgave before I could act, causing me to smile now looking back, to see how paltry was my worst compared to your forgiveness of it, already given. And this then is the vision of heaven of which we have heard, where those who love each other have forgiven each other, where, for that, the leaves are green to light a music in the air, and all is unentangled, and all is undismayed. Now we have Fusion Choir.
I am not Fusion Choir. Apologies, Chris. That piece that they had worked on for today will be shared in the next several weeks. Yesterday morning, I joined our religious educator whose story you heard earlier Nao Yaxley and her boy Erickson at a nature walk and scavenger hunt at Mud Lake, just down the river a little ways from where we are today. The event was co-sponsored by our congregation and Or Hanashama, the Reconstructionist synagogue that also meets in this space. I met their religious educator, Jenny, as well as several of their members and children, all delights. And while we waited for the rest to join us, one of the Or-H mothers told me that she and her wife had been walking at Mud Lake since their daughter, now maybe 9 or 10, was 3 years old. She showed me a photo on her phone from a recent trip there of a small screech owl nesting, almost perfectly camouflaged, in a nook of a tree there at Mud Lake. When everyone gathered, we started our hike and scavenger hunt. Could we find a rabbit? Could we find a snake? After walking on the trail for a few minutes, the mother who had showed me the picture of the owl walked off the trail for a little bit and then turned toward me, inviting me silently to follow. She whispered, "The owl's just there. Do you see it?" "Not yet." "In that tree there." Oh, once seen, the formerly invisible owl was now impossible to miss. Do we have the picture? Yes. And it originally was a square. It got stretched to fill the screen, and so it didn't look exactly like that. But I hope you can see the little owl. Short, squat, eyes closed as it slept there in the daytime. Feathers ruffled by the breeze, there it was. This was a lovely little moment. But the woman who showed me that owl couldn't have known just how special, how much that moment echoed for me. You see, everyone in my birth family has an animal associated with them. I don't think my parents planned this, but over the years, all of us were given an adopted animal mascot. My dad's was the owl. Now, normally we pictured him as a great horned owl, but any owl really would do. One day, in the early weeks after his death, my mother returned home from an errand or something and pulled the car into the driveway to find an owl sitting there, smack dab in the middle of the driveway. It seemed my father was paying her a little visit. I mean, how often do you see an owl sitting, waiting for you smack dab in the middle of a suburban driveway? No one in the family thought she was crazy. Seeing the same thing, all of us would have assumed the same, perhaps come to the same, perhaps poetic conclusion. In showing me that owl yesterday, the woman gave me more of a gift than she could have known. A parent of mine was nesting, resting in the nook of that tree. Which takes me to the story Nao shared with us earlier. In the books afterward, readers are told that the book was inspired by something the story's original artist would ask his children: "What will your beautiful hands do today?" One of the things my scarred and newly arthritic hands did yesterday was to take the photo you saw earlier. Brett Baumgarten, the original author of that line, his saying mirrors something that my mother said every day as my brother and I headed off to school. She would always say before we headed to the school bus stop, "Make it a great day." More than anything else, that's what I remember about her and what I missed the most. Make it a great day. I don't know what prompted her to start saying that. I'm sure there was something, whether she heard the phrase from someone and decided to adopt it, call it, make it her own, or it came to her for some reason. But despite my curiosity, it really doesn't matter how or why she started saying that. What matters is that she said it, and she kept on saying it. In fact, the congregation that I served last year was just a little over 30 miles from where our family used to live and where the church was that we used to attend. And just before Mother's Day last year, I drove my wife Ann down to show her that church. She had never been before. And to find the memorial bench for my mother in the congregation's little meditation garden. I hadn't seen it before. My brother went to the dedication of the bench. I think I had church duties that weekend. There seemed to be a lot of weekend church duties in my life, as I imagine you can understand. And there, on a little bench, there it was, written on a little brass plaque, Emily Meter, make it a good day, exclamation point. Great, good, I'm not going to quibble with the wording. I've long known my memory is both selective and imperfect, and maybe Mom had a different way of putting it to folks at church than she did to my brother and I back home. Either way, my mother gave that blessing to lots of people, and those she did remember her now with love. That's what Mother's Day means to me. Celebrating those who would encourage us to make it a good day, make it a great day. And still, Mother's Day is a deceptively complex holiday. Mothering has never been an easy business, and as the readings highlighted earlier, there are many, many ways to parent, to mother. The most moving Mother's Day address I've ever heard, is actually one I've read, not heard. It comes from a now retired colleague of mine, Susan Milner, and it was published in a volume of sermons by female Unitarian Universalist ministers. In that Mother's Day address, Reverend Milner looked back at the birth of her daughter, Abigail, who was born many weeks premature. She confessed in that sermon that she was so scared that Abigail would not survive that she herself shut down, wasn't able to be a mother to her daughter for months after Abigail was born. During this time, Susan's husband, Terry, was the acting parent, being both mother and father to little Abigail. In her sermon, Reverend Milner lifted up also Terry and Abigail's healthcare team, thanking them for their work in the NICU, providing love to her little one until until she, Susan, was able to begin being a mother herself. This was a Mother's Day address from a mother who was not able to take on that role until months into her daughter's life. It was an expression of loving gratitude to a father who provided mothering and to healthcare workers who provided mothering until the author herself was able to begin to act as a mother, as a parent. Some years later, when friends of mine had twins, also weeks, if not months prematurely, I often thought of Susan Milner's story of being unable to love at first. One of my children's friends, my friend's children, forgive me, didn't make it. But little Isaac, who did, was and still is a fighter. The support my friends, Isaac's mother and father, gave each other during this time remains to me a beacon for what love can be. They are my parenting exemplars. My father, like Isaac, lost a twin brother when he was born. Unlike Isaac, my father also lost his birth mother at the same time. My grandfather was devastated, as you can imagine, I'm sure, and gave care of his young son over to his sister Therma until he remarried 10 years later. My father has been gone over 30 years now. Therma, his early surrogate mother, has been gone for many more. Isaac will be graduating from high school a year from now, and Abigail, well, she'd be in her 30s. Love can be fragile and is always vulnerable, as I trust you know. Still, it is never wise to vote against love. Love's capacity to find a way is simply and miraculous, and always miraculous. And here, given the news of the week, I feel compelled to also mention the draft United States Supreme Court ruling that made its unprecedented way to the public eye this last week. If Roe versus Wade is struck down in coming weeks, leaving individual states to determine what is acceptable within their borders, abortions will not cease in any of those states. They'll just be made illegal, done on the fly, done much, much less safely. It may simply mean, all of this, that the nation to our south has begun to turn away from what we might now call peak personal freedoms. It will be on the downward slope without Roe v. Wade. I remember 6 years ago now, a week-long reproductive justice summer camp for the youth in the congregation I then served. During that week, the youth filmed roughly 20 adults speak to the youth about their experiences in facing reproductive choices. Women told on camera of illegal and then legal abortions they had had, and courageous choices to carry to term. I shared a story of a college-age decision to terminate an unplanned pregnancy. Every story was unique, and elements of each person's story rhymed with elements of everyone else's story. At the end of the week, the group, and my wife and I played chaperone, took a field trip to a clinic that offered abortions among other forms of medical care. No one sugar-coated anything. Our faith tradition's human sexuality program, Our Whole Lives, or OWL for short, offers a comprehensive take on the countless facets of human sexuality and the intersection of our sexuality, personhoods, and belief. OWL is one of the two best things our faith tradition offers. The other is our approach to memorial services, how we celebrate the lives of those we have loved and lost. Now, I don't want to give you the wrong impression. I want to add that the reproductive justice summer camp was not an OWL activity. It was the brainchild of our then religious educator. You might consider that week, that summer camp, a sort of postdoctorate owl for teens. Back to current events. Whatever the outcome of Roe versus Wade in the United States, our congregations across this continent will continue offering the best, most comprehensive human sexuality education we can. And let me here offer a brief reminder. Our OWL summer camps here at FirstU are still open. If your children or grandchildren might be interested, might find OWL of use to them, please contact our religious educator, Nao, or myself. All of that said, this is still Mother's Day, a celebration of one of our kind's, our species' most crucial and complex roles. Here is a poem to conclude my talk this morning, a poem of gratitude for the loving act of mothering from Albert Dumont, who will be here to speak with us in person in just over a month's time. This is his poem titled Like Trees, in honor of loving parents. Like trees, sheltering the life of the forest, you have always stood strong, protecting me from destructive winds. 1,000 winters of wisdom you place on my life's pathway, nourishing me. Your hand I take, your smiles I bring into my dreams. The joys and sorrows of your past you send forth like birds, sunlight dancing on their wings. They come shielding my heart and mind from all that which would crush my spirit. The spirit of the land locks like an unbreakable cord with the commitment you made to Creator to always defend me. And now, together in thanksgiving, our song of honor we sing. Our song of honor we sing. What will your beautiful hands do today? Make it a great day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and all those who do their best to mother. May it be so. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Eric. Fusion is going to be performing for you today, The Road Home. This is going to be featured in our concert on Saturday, which we hope to see many of you at. So here is an overview of the lyrics. Tell me, where is the road I can call my own, that I left, that I lost so long ago? All these years I've wandered, oh, when will I know there's a way, there's a road that will lead me home? After wind, after rain, when the dark is done, as I wake from a dream in the gold of day, through the air there's a calling from far away, there's a voice I can hear that will lead me home. Rise up, follow me, come away is the call, with love in your heart as the only song. There is no such beauty as where you belong. Rise up, follow me, I will lead you home.
Lovely. This congregation has a long history of care, vitality, and bringing people together to move the arc of justice forward. We've been able to live into our hopes and dreams because of the generosity of those within and beyond this community. Whether you are here in Worship Hall or anywhere else at all, you are part of this community. To make a gift in support of the work of this congregation, you don't need to use the baskets that will soon be making their way among our pews. Wherever you are invited to go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how to make a donation or to keep up with your pledge. Our gifts are freely given and gratefully received. We dedicate these gifts to the work of this community of faith, serving human wholeness, caring for the planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, and loving one another. And now our closing hymn, Open My Heart. For those here in Worship Hall, please feel free to hum along. For those elsewhere, if you have a hymnal with you, the song is number 1013 in our teal hymnal.
Jan Fusion, thank you. Before we begin to close this time of worship and reflection, a reminder that our online hospitality hour will begin at 11:30 a.m. As we prepare to extinguish our chalice, let these words by Philip Randall Giles be our guide. We lift our hearts in gratitude for the gift of life and praise the faithfulness of those who went before and set a pattern of excellence. For parents whose love wrought better than they knew, for teachers whose faith was in us was a blessing beyond measure, for friends whose uncalculating acceptance remains an evergreen memory, for those whose challenges have stirred us to new resolve and occasionally new heights, for all these known to us and the host of unknowns of whose trust we are the beneficiaries, we raise the ancient toast, L'chaim, to life. May we find in these moments together a blessing of peace and renewal, that we may return to the daily round with the calmness and strength adequate to our need. This morning's chalice is extinguished, yet the spark of our connections and faith remain. With that said, Jen and company, will you bless us yet again? hands, will you reach out, taking the hand of those in your bubbles, stretching your hands out to those beyond, within this space and beyond these walls as well. This Mother's Day, may each of us go in peace, go in love, and go in joy. Honoring your parents, my friend. Love to you all. Go in peace. And now our morning's postlude. Got to remind you that Zoom Hospitality Hour will be happening in the lounge at 11:30. Thank you.